But let's summarize here. The main attention continued to be on Western territories because their system, it is not just because they are going out there and damage whatever it is out there as some kind of King Kong protocol or Frankenstein, but the fact is also that America in substance exists as a Frankenstein itself within its creation, and with it also entire West, that is British Empire and Australia and New Zealand, exist very much as a Frankenstein societies, because in substance they exist in some kind of damage factor, some kind of negativity, and that is all because they continue to be driven by the empowering of the lowest syndicate slash working class structures or deep state society, which is holding the intelligence as a hostage or as a rotten children, either their own or the foreign element. So the inner structure of the Western society is profoundly wrongly positioned. And here Donald Trump impositioning becomes additional oil to the fire that already exists as a problem or as a sickness of the entire West wing of the entire Western civilization. They simply have wrong value system. The entire Western civilization exists on very wrong value system that will need to be noticed. And that value system, as such, wrongly positioned, wrongly crafted, is going historically, is going within the financial industry of predominantly driven by predominantly American society and Jewish backing, which we discussed is actually other way around. Jewish for quite some became pipe of Western wing as totally. So within the entire historic heritage, we will need to notice that West wing, exactly because of the very vivid historic heritage, does have rather baggage from the past and a very weak capacity to ever get out from such baggages from the past. That's principal issue with American society. Similar situation we will find on domestic territories as well. Very similar situation on domestic territories. In Russia, we have unfortunate event when Russia is the weaker child or the Yuda, basically, in positioning itself across the entire Siberia and entire Russia and calling it their own territory, and then talk about freedom of Russia, without noticing that they are holding the entire Russia as a hostage to entire Judaism politics of Western society. And that is where they have something in common with America, and that is Judaism approach. As a result, Russia have implemented in my life some kind of Rasputin character, which I managed to transform into lizard, into the best, that exists as unfortunate mistake attached to my life and continuous description and school case of how one should pipe this kind of performance. Exists as a pipeline, and that is why I cannot approve Russia in their right to speak about freedom movement, freedom today, because they are the one not respecting someone else's freedom. And as long as that is the case, they will have problem with their own freedom as well. As that is how freedom exists. By respecting your own, but also respecting the freedom of other people. But if you exist as a factor that is diminishing and destroying the freedom of other people, you will end up at some point speaking about your freedom as well, for sure. But let's notice how this works here. You may say other way around, and you're free to talk about other way around, but I'm going to say there's a difference between someone naturally deploying on territories or someone deliberately planting some kind of Rasputins in their lives and trying to play damaging factor in their lives and then use that as a resource exploitation and call it resource exploitation. And now we talk about free Russia. Can someone explain to me where here we are going to find free Russia exactly? Also, the other day I just heard Putin himself complaining that he is being stuck into some kind of economy of resource exploitation. Well, is that amount for freedom of Russia as well? I know one thing. I have a pipeline attached to my life and I want it out. And I want to know who exactly has plugged it in my life. So find yourself Americans and Russians answering to that particular question. And why I'm not getting my proper positioning so I can continue my work properly, assisting, that is, counseling this planet. Now you want to talk about freedom? Well, then let's talk freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk freedom. And don't call me Africa, because Africa I am not. I am ancient imperial plateau event, which you found convenient to occupy for your overambitious projects on your territories. And then you talk freedom. You have occupied the land of kings, and then you want to talk freedom. I think for me, a joke just began. Just begun. Let's summarize again. I found absolutely unacceptable after my arrival in New Zealand to find in New Zealand existing on some kind of working class, some kind of handyman, some kind of this kind of very much kind of builders level of population playing some kind of owners of the island, behaving as gods here, immediately jumping over our kids, recruiting them into their dirty affairs, and completely disrespecting me as a woman and as an ambitious factor of intelligence, jumping immediately on protocol. A woman has to be in the house and to be stripped and become Meryl Streep, and we to make money out of it, and we have and develop financial industry out of it, and declare rich listers on the planet and be riches. And going all the way to Donald Trump and liking Donald Trump on the richy note. I just explained how Western becomes richy person. So I would rather find laughable someone in 21st century to define a rich man on such parameters. Yet the joke is not you come in New Zealand, you go in Australia, you go in Britannia, that is where rich list is situated. You go in America, that is how it gets judged, that is how it gets built, that is how continue to build the entire platform of political system. That is how Donald Trump continues to win. In all the times he connect with the grounds, excuse me. These are not grounds, they're playing gods. They're playing gods. I came here and they have been playing gods over me, and they continue to play God to me. That is what they are, playing gods on earth. That is the problem of America, and we will need to, as a planet, to address it. And as a planet, we need to seek to be immediately solved. Problem with Russia is, as I have said, is that completely it is driven by the exact psychology, because Russia is drawn within the same financial, that is planetary economic market system. And Russians, as I can notice so far, have absolutely no problem to be plugged within the same international financial system. Few years ago, they have just asked and have been asking to be participating in the game. Now they want to talk freedom. As I have said, a joke just begun. Because for quite some time, I gave vow to a planet as a monarch of Earth. And for me, definition of freedom is also very much personal question. Now there we start the metaphysics right there. And then you talk freedom, it's a bit overlapping. And it becomes a bit crowdy as well, from my perspective. I just declared yesterday monarchy of England to be used for purposes of monarchy of Earth, and you're talking to me today about freedom of Russia. How about we talk about freedom of Earth first? I think that comes first. Russians. But I'm going to tell you, if this planet continues to be reluctant about discussing freedom of Earth, then they should not be endearing to talk about their freedoms either, because that would be hypocritical, as you would to say. Yes, exactly like that. And the mirror effect being launched as we speak, as my positions are crystal clear.